Welcome back to School and Community Relations, Learning Module 2. So far in the course, you have heard presentation about the changing nature of school and family relationships. You have heard about the keys to working effectively with the larger school community and its diverse needs. Now let's take a look at just exactly how a principal can effectively create an open communication model with the school and its larger community. School leaders will spend up to 80% of their time involved in communications with those in and outside the school. Therefore, it's tantamount to the school operating in an efficient and effective manner for the leader to communicate with people effectively. Communication is foundational in forming relationships outside of the school. Therefore, communication with all sectors should be planned and proactive, not reactive. Leaders have enough obstacles in creating collaborations. They don't need to undermine themselves. This slide shows the key elements of poor communication. And let's have a look at each of these. First, information overload. So much information is generated and disseminated that the reader could not possibly digest any of it. Status difference. Open two-way communication is diminished because of a difference in the power of status. That is, a parent of a student with behavioral disorders is hesitant to send an email message to the principal. Semantics. Words have different meanings for those of different races and cultures. That is, to say that's bad would carry meaning of that's good within some communities, but would mean that's not good in another community. Filtering. The original communication from the sender is altered, either intentionally or unintentionally, or only a part of the original is sent or received. Paralanguage. Body language, patter, speed, and cadence, and emotional intonations such as sighs and grunts are used in spoken language. And interpersonal relationships, the quality and interpersonal styles of the participants in the communication. School leaders realize that most communication with families comes from teachers. However, it's up to the leaders to encourage communication that is two-way, open, and active, and that school-wide communication supplements the individual teacher's methods with school-wide lines. These school-wide lines of communication must also be two-way, open, and active in order to be effective. If there are non-English speaking families who have limited English, families in the school community should be the family's first languages. Many leaders have sought out ethnic media specialists to help communicate accurately with these groups. It's also necessary for school leaders to let teachers know they are willing to work with the teachers on their individual communications with parents, to make certain that notes and letters sent home are culturally sensitive and contain no insults based on socioeconomic status. For instance, consider the note sent home to a family who is led by caregivers rather than parents, and someone addresses it as to mom and dad. Or consider the permission slip sent home to a lower socioeconomic family, asking them on Monday to donate $25 by Friday for a field trip. It's the leader's responsibility to nurture awareness in their staffs. Leaders must also be exceptionally careful that school personnel do not depend on technology as a vehicle of communication. Within many low socioeconomic and poverty-level family homes, computers are not available, even though computer terminals may be quite plentiful in the schools. Therefore, posting information on a website, for example, is useless for some families. The school community often falls prey to overuse of the one-way system. The one-way system doesn't need to be in place for disseminating general information, since communities care about what is happening in the schools. The more communities know about the school, the more support the school will receive. However, the need for a two-way process is evident in collaborative activities such as learning. The more schools open themselves to the communities with two-way communication opportunities, the more responsive the community will become. Through effective communication, relationships are built. Trust is established, and respect is gained. School leaders need to remember that for most communities, schools are not a comfortable place to be. The school culture and behavioral norms may be very different from their own culture and behavioral norms, and that causes fear of the unknown. This fear is very real, and the more dichotomous the school culture is from the particular homogeneous culture of the community, the more fearful community members will be. Thus, It is the process of communication that can ameliorate the fear and bridge the cultures. Before beginning any collaborative activity, there must be certain concepts in place. Leaders must first know and understand the power structure for decision making, and so on. If school leaders emphasize the importance of culturally sensitive communication, limit the amount of mass communication and form letters, encourage communication that is written specifically for particular reasons, then the better the school relations will be. The school will be perceived as an unwelcoming and uncaring place if only there are mass communication sent out. A foundation and capacity for change is developed and is encouraged when school leaders develop a two-way process. There is a current theory that people within the school community will not accept or reject ideas for change or reform until they have spoken with other community members who are perceived as their key communicators. It's a good principal's job to find those key communicators within the school communities and make sure that you speak clearly with them first before trying to speak to the larger community. That is a real good lesson for modern-day principals to learn. When working with the public at large in collaborative activities, there are three areas of communication in which a leader must become proficient: the power of persuasion, relationship building, and being a good listener. The first area is the leader's ability to rally others in the pursuit of like goals. Leaders must be able to influence the public to value their goals and help them to reach those goals. They need to project a sense of enthusiasm and confidence. Relationships must be the second concern for leaders in the communication process. Establishing sound relationships is so important. Leaders should pay close attention to communicating trust and personal commitment to a collaboration. The third area is predicated upon a leader's ability to listen and hear